Hi guys, how's everybody out there doing today? So I'm back with another quick video, and in today's video I'm just gonna go over having an ancestral altar. Okay, so let's get started. I have my notes here. So for those of you who don't know what an ancestral altar is, it is simply an area set aside in your home that is devoted to those that you love. And on the other side, it could be a table, a shelf, a closet, or even top of a dresser, bookshelf, okay, a shoe box. The area could be big or small as you like, okay? And it should contain items as photos of your ancestors, flowers, or items that remind you of the people that you are honoring. So, when that's in place, okay, there are a few things that you may want to know before you set up an ancestor altar, okay? Number one thing is the area that you set up your ancestor altar. I recommend you set up your ancestor altar in an area where it's low traffic area. What I mean by that is when you walk into your home or you have visitor, don't set up your ancestor altar where it is visible to others, where there's a lot of traffic, okay? The reason why is this is because the altar becomes a spirit highway of some sort. It means that it will attract and draw a high level of spiritual activities, okay? It's because you are creating a space, a safe space, a meeting space for the other side. Place your ancestor altar where it's not affected by other energies as well. I don't recommend as well placing your ancestor altar in your bedroom, okay? So you can place it in your living room if there's not much traffic there, if it's only just you and your other family members in your home, it's fine. A dining room is fine. If you have a small space, you have roommates, like I said, a shoebox, bookshelf, a dresser, whatever you have, okay? But don't put it in an area where you get a lot of visitors. So, the number one important thing I find with anything that you're doing, you always got to make sure to cleanse any area that you are working with magically. That could be for a ritual, a spell, as well as your ancestor altar area. Make sure you cleanse and purify this space. You can use sage stick, Florida water, okay? Or a homemade herbal wash that you have or made yourself, okay? Then you use a blessing oil or your intentions, okay? State your intentions for this area. Once you have invoked the space for use, when you're finished, place an altar cloth or a piece of fabric over it before you set it up, and preferably the color white, okay? Now you're going to appoint a guardian. You're going to appoint a guardian to watch over your ancestral altar. Like any good nightclub, you're going to need a bouncer, right? When you open a door like this to the spiritual realm, everyone is going to want to come in. Even if you can manage to keep it just only your family, I'm sure you know from previous gathering, just as a nightclub, there are some people are just always going to cause problem. This is why you need to appoint a specific spirit for protection. Okay? On your altar space. All right? If you have a particular spirit that you work with for protection, okay, you can appoint that spirit for protection on your altar space. Or charge them for the task of keeping any negative spirit out of your home. If you're new to setting up an altar space, okay, and you don't have a particular spirit that you work with, ask Archangel Michael for his assistance in this matter. So you can have oracle card of Archangel Michael, which I do have on my altar space, okay? You could have a statue of Archangel Michael on your altar space, okay? You could have a red candle to represent Archangel Michael on your altar space for protection. As well, you could have salt. Black salt is a great protection aid on your altar space, okay? So your altar should always have a bowl or a glass of fresh water. Okay, water has always been seen as a point of entry between the world of living and the world of the dead. Having a water on an altar will create a much more stronger connection between you and your ancestors. Always make sure you change the water weekly or sooner if you notice the water is no longer clean or fresh. Another great thing to have for your ancestor is food. Okay? A person gotta eat. Leaving out your loved one's favorite foods or offerings like fruit or common practice with ancestor altar. All right? You don't have to leave a full plate, but a small offering will go a long way on the other side. If you are leaving out food for your ancestors, let it sit there until it gets stale or there's clearly no more life left in it. So if you had a meal that day, just leave out a little bit for your ancestor or just an offering as fruit, okay, will be great as well. Whatever you have to offer, your ancestor will always be appreciated. Flowers, okay? If you live with a roommate, you can't really leave out food that much. Flowers is great as well to add to your altar as a gift, okay? You could choose specific flowers for your ancestors if you know which flowers that they like. If you don't know, it's okay. Choose something that looks pretty, all right? Flowers are beautiful gifts that you could present to anyone on the other side to honor them. Make sure to remove the vase from your altar when the flowers is dead. Okay, don't leave it there. Your ancestor altar will not only be a place for you to honor your loved ones, but it's also a place where you can call on them to connect with them. All right, if you're not well versed in communicating with your ancestors right out the bath, okay, because it does take practice, having a tool that will help you to feel more comfortable working comes in handy. All right, these tools can be a tarot card, runes, whatever you have, okay, to help you. On my ancestor altar, I have my tarot deck, all right? So this helps me to connect with my ancestors, okay? Any messages that they want to connect with me, all right? So that's another great tool to use, okay? Crystals as well. On my ancestor altar, I have this crystal, the cellulite crystal, okay? You can tell it's been used. Incense has been on it. Oh, another great thing as well is to burn incense, okay? Incense is another great way to connect with the other side, okay? And most important of all right? Most important of all, having a candle, right? This is what you need to connect with your ancestors. This is the connection with your ancestors. When you light this, you are connected on the other side with your ancestors. When you light this candle, it on the other side, okay, it shows your ancestors that you are connecting with them on the physical realm, on this realm, okay? But before you light your candle, always make sure you have protection. So I spoke about Archangel Michael. If you work with a spirit to protect you, always make sure that's in place and then you go ahead and light your candle, and that represents that you are at your altar and you're ready to communicate with your ancestors. I think spending time daily with your ancestor is really important, okay? You don't have to spend all day at your altar, but make to spend some time each day, all right, to connect with your ancestors, all right? You could do something as like a quick prayer, light your candle for them, all right? If you want to drop off a gift or say hello, all right? Perhaps there's a question on your mind, or you have a difficult life choices or anything that you're going through right now, you need advice, all right? And maybe you had a hard day. Maybe you just wasn't feeling that great that day. Sit down with them and just talk about it. Just talk with them. Either way, your ancestors need to acknowledge you on a regular basis, all right? Especially if these are spirits you're calling for your assistance in any magical way or for your day-to-day life. No one wants to help a person if they only reach out when they need a favor. All right? So you got to remember that your altar is a two-way street. The more you show attention to them, the more they show attention to you. All right? And help you. Another great way to connect with your ancestor is burning ancestral money, all right? I do this almost daily by burning ancestral money for my ancestors to help them on the other side, or for them to help me on this side. So that's another great way that you connect with your ancestors, okay? Ancestor ceremony is great. I pointed out having a tool as tarot cards or runes, whatever that you use to convey messages from your ancestors, okay? The more you work with your ancestors, the more your ancestors will work with you. The more effort you put into them, the more effort they put into you. Remember, they're part of you. You may not see them on your day-to-day, but they're still here within you, okay? And we all got a past, and it's always great to be acknowledged, all right? So they want to be acknowledged as well. So I hope it is helpful to you guys, this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video along with anybody out there. All right, it's just a quick topic, ancestral altar. You don't need much. If all what you can do, all right, if you could just have a glass of water, a candle, and some salt, that's all you need, all right? And whatever that you could offer your ancestors, the number one thing is time, all right? If you can't afford to have flowers or offerings on a regular basis, sit with your ancestors. The number one thing is spending time with them daily. They will still appreciate you, okay? All right, guys. See you again for another video. Bye.